Well, it's great to be here. It's also great to be here with people that I've worked with. I'm proudly saying I'm part of the Bill Wylam cloud, that our fog, as we talked about, it might have been a fog back a while ago. But it's clearing up, whatever it is. And I also am interested to note that our panel, except for our moderator, I think we're organized by seniority here. We're going from Dell. We're working our way down to Paul on the end there. So anyway, as my title says, I'm the Director of Forward and Advanced Power Engineering for Delphi. That's better than the backward and slow engineering group. I'm glad I'm not in charge of that, guys. All right, so a few slides on Delphi on what we do. For those that don't know, we're working in the area of safe, green, and connected. That's our vision. We're a leading global supplier of electronics and technologies for automotive, commercial vehicles, and various market segments. We are very large. We're operating in major technical centers, 30 countries. We deliver real-world innovation around the globe. And our headquarters for our electronics division is in Kokomo, Indiana, and it's part of that cloud. We are today the largest North American supplier of power electronics and battery packs for this market. I wish I could say that's a huge volume, but it doesn't take much to be the leader right now. The market is emerging. But right now we're number one, and we're going to claim that. Strategic partnerships, we have a lot of them in place. We're very happy to work with various lithium battery suppliers, power silicon, electronic components, national labs, universities, and of course the Energy Systems Network here. And we are very proud to have customers in both the light-duty and heavy-duty customer base, and very proud to support, of course, Allison and Lori Tuttle here. If you look at our products, just a little bit of background about us, this is kind of a picture meant to show the architecture of the modern electrified powertrain. And we've been doing this for a little over 20 years. We make a variety of products, whether they be the electronic supervisory controllers, DC to AC inverters that drive the motors, DC to DC converter to convert power so you can use your hotel loads instead of, you don't have to drive everything off the high voltage battery pack systems, high voltage system. We can integrate batteries into a battery pack system, as well as all the safety systems around that, as well as a charger. And we're very happy to partner with motor manufacturers and cell manufacturers. So when Bill Wylam talked this morning about its electricity, we are the control, command, and switching of that electricity. And that's basically the main functions that we do as a company. If you think about the market, I'm going to switch gears now, and we're actually talking about what the panel's thinking about here. We see the market in three major regions, North America, China, and Europe. And China kind of speaks for also the other emerging markets that are India and the third world. North America, all of them are growing. All of these look like if you had a stock futures index that you could invest in hybrid and electric vehicles, that you would all make money over the next 10, 15 years. One of the challenges we have as a company is each individual, and unfortunately there's no futures market for that. You have to invest in individual products and individual customers. But in North America, we really see that the full hybrid vehicle or plug-in hybrid is going to dominate. I know everybody wants to talk electric vehicles, but our geographical sprawl today is still going to dictate that a plug-in or a hybrid vehicle is probably going to be the dominant thing for the next 10 years. You are going to get EVs in urban areas. You're going to get it where you can develop an infrastructure or where the mission profile of the vehicle is appropriate. But you've got to remember in all this that the GM Volt, a lot of people think of it as electric vehicle, is actually a plug-in hybrid vehicle. So the vehicles that have unlimited utility are still going to dominate this market. In China, a lot of money being put in there by the government, $15 billion over the next decade. They're very much focusing on incentives on electric vehicles. It's kind of interesting. If you talk to the Chinese OEMs, they're a little nervous about that. It is kind of like a planned economy. So the government says, by God, we're going to have electric vehicles. They're putting the incentives there. But every Chinese OEM is building a hybrid or plug-in hybrid electric vehicle to compete in the marketplace, because they believe that that's also going to be one of the dominant markets as well. Even though the chart here will show, I think hybrid is still a pretty big part of that. Europe, a lot of aggressive emissions regulations, higher fuel prices have always been there. Diesel has taken them a long way, but now they have to go beyond that, and we're going to see them taking off as faster than the U.S. And again, on all these, there's incremental steps that the governments or local companies could have taken. You could have done a mild hybrid or a moderate toe in the water to improve fuel economy. And what we see is that the governments are all pushing incentives, and they're doing market manipulation, and it's going to cause people to jump all the way to full hybrids a little sooner. So it's kind of an interesting thing that we see taking place there. The other thing we see is that the HEV, EV production comes in waves, and it's kind of been coming on waves for a long time, or ripples, if you will, early on. But we've come out of the 90s where we did demonstrations, technology, voluntary mainstream kind of products as we go across. So as you go into the region that we're in now, we're actually in the global stimulus and incentive region is kind of the way we look at it. Again, there's a lot of market manipulation going on and global stimulus that is affecting this part of the business. Beyond this, the real market that we see is going to be out here in 2015-16 when a lot of the legislative mandates take place, both in CAFE in the U.S. and CO2 in Europe, and we see China starting to work towards CO2 reduction, and then the really, really big market comes past 2020, and if you haven't read books about this, you probably ought to take a look. Mega city and the mega corridor. The large industrialized places in the world are mega cities, huge populations. Those are going to be the real driver for electric vehicles, and that's going to be past 2020 in terms of huge volumes as they come. So this wave is coming, the market's coming, and it's going to take place in various forms. We have to keep in mind, though, that all solutions are local, and so the local solution that you adopt here in Indianapolis will be different than, say, the industrial corridor of New York, Boston, Washington. And everybody likes to think one car fits all. Well, it doesn't anymore. It's not going to. There's going to be different transportation solutions in each of these markets, and hopefully mass transit will make a comeback in these megacity corridors. If you look at oil price, our DOE spokesman this morning, Mr. Owens, alluded to this. Oil price is driven by a couple factors: demand and risk of supply. And risk of supply lately, speculation and political influence has kind of been the dominant one. And this is a chart of dollars per barrel, and this is from the DOE as our source here. You can see the spikes up and down. And if you were a statistician, you'd clearly say that something changed somewhere around the early part of the last decade. And that big change, it's not necessarily the political turmoil as much as it is the industrialized nation growth that was talked about earlier. And so you get these little spikes up and down, global recessions, special cause events, but the overall trend is still up. And so in our planning and thinking ahead, we just believe that you will have a continual world of $100 plus barrel of oil in the future. That's what it is. And that's going to translate into $3.50 to $4 a gallon or more, no matter what you want to do. So you might as well get used to it and start thinking about this, okay? And as consumers, how many people drove their electric or hybrid vehicle to the place? All right, and we got a lot of opportunity to save fuel and do a little better here, okay?